That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we are once again hanging out at the produce stand. Podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show, Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one is not adverse to whoring out our panelists to other podcasts. I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is the lovely Tanya, and online we have Squirrely Matt and the very late Victor. And joining us this week...
Rest in peace. Oh, different kind of late.
He's the host of How Are You Now, PodScure, Disputed Pod, the producer of Boondocks Pod, and the grand poobah of the PodScure Podcast Network. Please join me in making some noise for Dean Giles.
Wondrous. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wait.
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck.
I regret nothing.
Welcome back to the produce stand, Dean.
That's very cool. Very cool. Very nice.
Who's saying? Is that
That's Katie.
Is that Katie?
That's very cool. Very cool. Very nice.
All right, it didn't sound like her.
I love the dueling soundboards. When
I
you
know,
guys
right?
both
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
How's your walk?
Not great, if I'm being honest.
How are you now?
All right, tonight's lineup is going to be Al, Victor, Tanya, Matt, and our guest Dean's going to have the last word. So I'm going to start with my week, and my week has been the same as last week. The last couple of months working on the podcast for work, that's all I've been doing. I've been locked in my room down here, literally almost working, sleeping, everything down here, working on the Yes, We Are Open podcast. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. By the end of November, it'll all be done and in the rearview mirror, and I can't wait. I mean, I'm having fun doing it, and I'm not complaining because I'm podcasting for a living. Holy fuck, they're paying me to do that. I can't believe it, but will not complain. So that's been my week. Victor, how's your week?
It's been a bit of a blur, I think. Just super busy at work myself. Very, very just crazy every day. But today was a bit of a special day because I got to meet my team for the first time in person.
Oh, you went into the office?
We finally were allowed to kind of come back, and so we're not gonna. It's not like we're gonna come back to the office. We're gonna do it very sparingly and strategically. So we started our new kind of agile approach, as you are familiar with, and so today we decided to meet in person to have our kind of planning day. And so mostly we just used the time to, it wasn't so productive, but we broke bread together, we had a nice dinner afterwards.
Cool.
And stuff like that. So it's just a really nice bringing the human element back and remembering what it's like to see people in person and do that stuff. So it was a very special day. And so everything else kind of becomes not so important. So that's the latest thing on my mind, and I'm happy we did it.
That's cool. That happened today?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's why I'm late.
That's why you're late. Okay. We'll forgive you this time.
Right.
Yeah, I had an in-person meeting with my team for the first time last week too. And that was kind of fun. Just being in the office, being in the same room with everybody, everyone looking at each other. And I mean, most of the people on my team were hired during the pandemic. So none of us have desks. None of us have a home in the office. It's really weird.
Same.
Yeah. 10? She's still, by the way, Tanya's work.
What?
I can't believe you're doing this. Tanya's working. She's actually working. Let me tilt this down here. She's doing paperwork while podcasting. She's multitasking right now.
It's so mom of you.
Oh man.
I mean,
I know I say this a lot, but I'm so busy. I bet you all are tired of hearing that. So looking forward to a break and a rest. It's just been a freaking whirlwind, and it's just now there's an
MDF shortage.
Yeah.
Which
just dealing with more and more
your
material.
industry.
dealing with more and more material issues and delays and chaos. And
Would you say you're a material girl?
Oh my God. I
She
wish.
wishes.
I wish. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of meditation, trying to keep myself calm, trying to keep in the eye of the storm of it all, and trying to find ways to get through it. And so it's been nuts, but yeah.
That's a heavy sigh. Matt,
Wasn't that?
how was
Wow,
your
the energy
I'm
is
sorry, isn't that
right?
terrible?
Holy crap.
Across
I
the
just really
board.
wish. Okay, so you know what? Okay, here's my good. We're looking forward to going and seeing our cousins this weekend.
cousins? Yeah.
No, we don't say that. Looking forward to seeing our cousins this weekend. So it was our daughter's birthday last weekend, and their daughter's birthday in 2 weeks. So we met in the middle and celebrate both of them, and looking forward to some R&R and have some fun and play some cards, maybe play some euchre. Yeah, there you go. That's my week.
You got to play euchre.
Gotta
Matt,
play euchre.
Matt.
Yeah, it's life's about balance. So I'll lead with, because the man himself is here. I hung out with Dean and Dawn on PodScure on Monday. That was a fucking blast.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I'd love to come back. That was so much fun. We just shot, I think it was a lot of movies and Brussels sprouts and Tom Cruise talk. But
By the way, I heard what you said about our podcast being too structured. I heard that.
Oh, were you listening?
Asshole.
I think I used the word formatted.
Formatted, right? Whatever.
Oh,
We are sans format.
Yeah. So that was an absolute blast. I got to see my parents on the way. I know we talked about that. So my parents were in town. I hadn't seen them in just shy of 2 years because of good old COVID. But that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. And so
nice.
that was great. And then the rest of the week has been my little guy's sick again. So my little 2-year-old has been late nights, and he's been home from daycare. So that makes the daytime a blast. I miss daycare so fucking much. But I think he's on the mend. I mean, today was his best day all week, but fuck, do I miss daycare. So did I mention daycare?
I hear you. Something with daycare.
Yeah, something with daycare.
All right.
it's rough when they're home for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Stop working. Dean.
I'm listening. I'm talking.
Oh, man.
Okay,
Figure it out.
I'll put it away. I'll put it away.
Mhm.
You're spare parts, aren't you, bud?
It's been a couple of months since we've seen you last. How have you been?
Been a little bit busy.
Same
Do you
as ever.
only podcast like all the time?
You know what? If I could, I would.
Mhm.
I know you would.
I the amount of work I put into it. I mean, shit. But yeah, as you said, this week was PodScure with Don, and then last week was on Tuesday. This week on Tuesday, so that's 2 nights ago, right? Yeah, we did Boondocks, the Date with the Booty Warrior, which is the next one that's coming out, which is a great one. It's a very funny episode with some deep information about the prison industrial complex. So how Aaron Magruder did all that stuff was amazing, and I'm looking forward to the reboot that's happening.
I was about to ask you about that. So I heard maybe on Boondocks you guys have been talking about, is it a reboot or are they just making new episodes? Are they continuing the story?
I think I think it'll be a reboot in a way. I mean, it's because it's new. It's a new art style that they're doing.
Oh, really?
A bit. I mean, generally speaking, you'll recognize Hugh and Riley, but the way they've designed their clothes and the style of the art is a little bit different. In fact, Aaron Magruder has an Instagram account called I can't even remember what it's called, but it's not Aaron Magruder. It's something about Boondocks. And you can see some of the artwork of the boys and Granddad that looks. I mean, I think it looks awesome. So I don't know if they're going to continue where they left off, or if the plan is to, kind of just, start a whole new season, because everybody, Uncle Ruckus, Granddad Huey.
Yeah,
Riley.
yeah.
I mean, there's really not like a story arc necessarily.
Right.
Each individual has their own kind of story, but so I don't think it's important that they continue necessarily right where they left off, because the boys are always going to be 8 and 10 years old. Granddad's always going to be granddad.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to have a whole bunch of new voices doing the characters.
Because there's a lot of like turnover there, isn't there?
Well, yeah, John Witherspoon and Charlie Murphy both passed away. Ed Asner. But I'm hoping, because it sounded like from an interview I heard last year of Regina King talking about coming back and doing the voices of the boys still. So we'll see. So
it'd be funny if they just went back and revisited old episodes going, see what we did here? We told you this was going to happen. And just every episode say, told you so, because it's all fucking coming true, or has come true. That's crazy.
Aaron Magruder is brilliant. So, and then last week on Undisputed was our Spike versus Cassidy episode, which was lots of fun. So,
results in yet on that, or is it still going?
Oh, we go up until the night before of the next episode. That's what.
Well, congratulations, Matt. You won your dispute. You did. You helped Tom Cruise beat James Bond.
Well, I had to get the root of that with Don, whether it was a hatred of Tom Cruise or Ethan Hunt, and he did come clean that it was Tom Cruise.
It's Tom Cruise. If it was anybody else playing,
But I mean, that's basically you defeated the incumbent. I mean, James Bond is the spy, and you would have I would have expected him to win hands down. So the fact that you won that one,
I think I made some good points.
Well, I know you did. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well done. All right. Well, I know it's late, and I know you're working. Actually, Tan, you need a coffee, don't you? To keep, to continue working. How about you, Victor? Do you need a coffee?
I'd have a coffee.
Yeah, Matt, would you like a coffee?
I'm actually surprised I'm not having coffee right now.
All right, great. Because as you know, Diabolical coffee is not being served at the produce stand. It's devilishly good coffee and diabolically awesome swag. There's a roast for every taste, and even some you didn't know you wanted. You can order whole bean, coarse, and standard grind and espresso, or if you're like Tanya and me, there's a K-Cup option for single cups brewers. And for the duration of season 8, which is, this episode and next, you can use the promo code Produce Stand for 10% off anything in the store. That's 10% off all coffee and merch. Thank you, Diabolical Coffee and Eric, for your support this season. Speaking of support, he has whipped up a couple of a coffee mug design for our season ending giveaway. So, and it looks pretty good. It's basically the Diabolical Coffee logo on one side, our logo on the other, and the words "I'd have a coffee." And there's going to be a run of 4 of those. Only 4 are going to be made, and only the winners of our draw at the Egg Hall next week are eligible. So if you've already written us an iTunes review, you are already automatically eligible. If you haven't, you still have some time to write them, but just make sure that iTunes reviews don't show up right away. So if you think you can write it on the last day and be eligible, I may not see it. If I don't see it, we can't draw your name. So try to do it. Don't leave it to the last second. Do it now. And speaking of,
am I eligible if I write a review?
No, you're not eligible.
Fuck.
And speaking of, yeah, you are. If you write us a review, for sure. Yeah,
you'll have to go under an anonymous.
Profiling.
It's like all those contests where if you're a relative, or if you work for the company, or a relative of somebody who works for the company, you are not eligible. But Dean's just a guest, so he's still eligible.
Do it under your mini. Which
under one of your millions of TR is eligible too. Or Matt. Yeah, Matt, you just get Jen to write one, and then maybe she's eligible. There you go.
I'll find you.
By the way, Tiara said to tell all y'all hi.
Oh, well, hi back. She's in Hawaii right now. So
she's still there?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Okay.
She comes back. She's taking the red eye back on Friday night.
Nice. And speaking of support, we have 8 new Twitter followers. So welcome to Corey Roberts from Hanahan, South Carolina. H2O enthusiast from the West, Eddie Spaghetti, Sherry Lynn from Cleveland, Daniel Rains, Quad Fun Run, Call In Steph, and Stephanie Wilkinson from Toronto. Thank you for following and hopefully for listening.
Previously on Letterkenny.
Last week, we recapped and reviewed the season 8 finale, Day Beers Day. That episode received a fresh rating from Tanya and Dennis and a clearance from Victor, Matt, and myself. According to our scientific Twitter poll, 83.3% gave the episode a fresh and the rest a clearance. So tonight, we do our regular season recap with our buddy Dean. I've done my homework. I mean, we've all done our homework. We'll skip that part.
I was going to say, was there something else I was supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Victor was just supposed to show up on time, and he failed. So we start off with Episode 1 of season 8. Our guest was Anna. And just to remind you what happened there, here's a limerick.
Mary Fred stepping out is whack. It's got poor Wayne locked up in his shack. Riley, Jonesy, and Shoresy are helping the Eagles scoresy. Meanwhile, Stuart is looking real jacked.
So in that episode there, Victor really took exception to the show that Wayne was watching in the sled shack. And we had a bit of an argument over it.
Basically his version of sitting with a pint of ice cream and watching Will and Grace.
Sure.
That's like how it came off to me.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's not how I took it. Look, there's shows that I'm nostalgic for. Look, Benny Hill could not be made right now, but
Oh my
I'd
God.
watch the shit out of a Benny Hill marathon.
I love Benny Hill. I have Benny Hill DVD sitting right
No,
in front
but
of me.
Benny Hill was a horrible show. Like, it could not be shown right now, but I'm still nostalgic for
agreed.
that show. So this is what I'm saying. He
It's
didn't
not-
like it. He didn't like the show because it was homophobic.
You're
He liked
missing
it
my
because
point.
he was nostalgic for the
that's
show.
fine. You're missing my point, but that's okay.
Okay.
That show, the whole punchline was always about making fun of the gays. Whereas every other show from the 80s that was or 70s that wasn't PC, it's let's make fun of everybody.
You're giving a lot of weight to a made up show. That's
I'm not getting,
anyway.
I'm giving my color based on what I saw.
All right,
Yeah.
Anna. So yeah, we got a little heated in the very first episode of that season, and I was the only one that gave that episode a fresh. Matt, Tanya, Victor, and Anna gave it a clearance, and I mean, Twitter just barely agreed with me. 68.4%. That's a lower percentage than usual for fresh, and 26.3 gave it a clearance, and 5.3 gave it a compost. So. Not the strongest start to season 8, but I mean, I enjoyed it. What did you think, Dean?
It was okay. I would say yeah. I wouldn't go fresh on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just because it was. I Misfire kind of bugged me for sure. I don't necessarily think it's in the same way that Victor was bugged necessarily. That did play a little bit of it. I mean, I understood. I mean, because it was talking like they're the Canadian version of MASH, which they had some homophobic stuff with Klinger in there, trying to pretend that he was a cross dresser or whatever it was that his thing was, but. It was definitely much.
He was trying to get a Section 7 or Section 8.
Section 8.
That's it. Section 8. He's trying to get kicked out of the military for being.
But that wasn't the punchline at the end.
No, but that's not the point. The point is, anyway, we're not going to rehash that argument.
You're missing my point. That's fine. Let's go.
All right. Well, yeah, you don't need to re-argue it. It's
exactly.
But I mean,
we don't want to make our guests feel uncomfortable.
Dispute pods next week.
Yeah.
I would probably say this one's a clearance in my opinion. It was okay. But sure. I mean, as far as season openings go,
Well, of course. I mean, apparently I was out on an island with this one anyway. I feel like because, and I mean, the consensus so I think in our group is season 7 has been was the worst season so far, was the weakest of the seasons. And coming out of season 7, I thought this was a fun start to this season. So
you were just desperate for something better.
It's possible.
I think the bright part was,
well, and I mean that cold open with the TSN crew, I enjoyed that one.
I did like that.
I enjoyed that way more because the next episode, and we'll get to that, they cold open with TSN, but it wasn't as fun for me as the cold open for this one.
Yeah, and the redheaded girl.
Caperness. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm with Tanis 100%.
Let's see. The MVPs we had for that episode, Matt gave it to Squirrely Dan. Tanya gave it to Squirrely Dan and Stuart. I gave it to Riley and Jonesy. Victor gave it to Squirrely Dan, and Anna gave it to Riley, Jonesy, and Shoresy's butthole. What? Who would you give it to?
I give it to Wayne's chair.
Wayne's chair?
Who sat in Wayne's chair?
Who?
Bonnie.
Oh, I completely forgot about at the produce stand. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Score.
Wayne's chair it is. Okay. That's a bit of a Victor pick there, I'd say. But anyway, moving on. We go on to episode 2, National Senior Hockey Championship. Our guest for that one was Eliza, and her magic didn't work this time. We didn't get a guest this season. Usually when we have Eliza on, we end up getting a guest. But anyway, here's a limerick for that one.
Wayne's still locked up and in his head. His good buddies sit vigil outside his shed. The Eagles win a ship. Roll adjust. Sturt's tip. Meanwhile, Katie goes and twiffers Mary Fred.
So in that one there, that one was a much anticipated episode where we get to see the Stuart reveal. And everyone was really curious about how Tanya felt about that scene and the adjustment. Let's hear her thoughts. Here is the scene that everyone's been waiting for. And normally I don't stop in the middle to talk about the scenes, but Tanya, what did you think of that scene?
Oh, it was okay. It was like
Tanya, how did you react when that happened?
I needed a moment. I was very shocked. I didn't see that coming, and I may have just needed to leave the room and laugh hysterically. I very much try to keep a poker face, as I think I've referenced before. I try not to give it away how I feel about the show, so that this is all kind of
new.
You're a true professional.
And I could not.
She was snorting. She was laughing so hard. She was snorting. She couldn't stop. It was funny. So yes, the great adjustment. That episode got, once again, a clearance from everyone except for our guest Eliza. She gave it a fresh. And the Twitter poll was actually almost split down the middle, 55.6% fresh, 44.4% clearance. Dean, what did you think of that one?
I give this one a fresh.
Yeah.
Just because of Shorzy taking out JJ Frankie JJ. Shorzy at that point to me proved he was the ultimate teammate. He sacrificed himself for the team. So yeah,
savage.
It was a dirty play though. It was a fucking dirty play.
Yeah, well, I don't blame him. I would do the same thing. I just love that spin. Whack. I've saved that GIF on my computer just so I can. So that's my way to socially distance from people who aren't wearing masks. You carry a hockey stick, and if they get too close,
just swing.
Oh, speaking of which, Victor was late, so he never got to see the jersey that's behind your head there. Yeah. But Victor, check it out.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
It's an inaugural Kraken jersey, but with Shore 69 on the back.
And on the front, he's got the captain badge. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Did anyone get it? Like understand when you ordered it? Like when
I don't think the people who when I was there understood it.
They probably thought his name was Shore.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's awesome. All right. So the MVPs for that episode, everyone loved Squirrely Dan in this. Victor gave it to Squirrely Dan. Matt, Tanya gave it to Squirrely Dan, and Stuart, obviously, because of the reveal. I gave it to Squirrely Dan, and Eliza gave it to Katie. Who do you give the MVP to in that episode?
Katie's boot.
Katie's boot.
Katie's boot and Shorzy's stick.
That's yeah, you're going all Victor on these. Okay, Shorzy's stick. Gotcha. No problem. All right, we're moving on to The Rippers, episode 3, season 8. Our guest for that one was a brand new listener. Her name is Elizabeth, or brand new guest for us anyway. Her name is Elizabeth. Here's the limerick for that one.
Wayne's cousin Jake shows up with a plan. A night at the Rippers will make Wayne a new man. Tyson and Joint Boy unite to teach Stuart to fight. But when it comes to Dirks, Wayne's not a fan.
And in this one here, Victor, his issue with this episode was he felt that Hicks were probably a little too old to be going to the strippers anymore. And once again, we get into a bit of an argument over this.
Up there.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, who do you put higher than that? So Wayne didn't want to go, but he went because of his cousin.
Squirrely Dan, yeah.
And Squirrely Dan didn't want to go, but McMurray, that's totally up his alley.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And
McMurray's
Derry,
a piece of shit. Yeah.
and Derry completely, he fell in love with the first stripper that he saw when he walked in.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess.
in love.
It's just we ended up there anyway. Regardless, we still ended up.
I agree that we ended up there, but I agree with Al that like everybody acted their way. Like if you watch Wayne's eyes, he is either they're completely shut or he's looking at the ceiling
I
the
love it.
entire time.
Love it.
He is so uncomfortable. He is though. Like Dirk's like I actually wrote down like what he called Wayne a couple of times: boo boo, kitty fuck, hot beef, and sweet and sexy. Like I'm sorry, dude. Like really, you just meet this guy. I'm sure you've heard some backstory because of like the whole engagement thing, but this is boo boo kid. No, we don't know.
Elizabeth was a great guest. She was awesome. And a librarian.
Boo Boo Kitty Fuck was a great, and Boo Boo Kitty Fuck is a classic comment.
Smooth cock.
Yeah, so many great lines.
Boo Boo Kitty Fuck, Jay and Silent Bob
shirt.
So Dean, so we all gave this a fresh except for Victor because he didn't think that the Hicks should have been going to the strippers. But anyway,
couldn't relate to it.
He couldn't relate to it.
I can relate to it because every year since before we got married, so our bachelorette party, every year on Tiara's birthday, we go down to Portland to go to the strip club. So that's a yearly thing. And and next month I will be 53 years old. So no.
So there you go, Victor. Take that. It's a pilgrimage. They make a pilgrimage to the strip club.
Sometimes we do it twice a year. So, but
you don't take the portal up to
to Quebec.
To Quebec.
Well, that's why you're moving to Portland, right? Because to be closer.
But he's talking about like soft U.S. strip clubs.
Oh, you have not. Portland per capita has more strip clubs than anywhere else in the world.
What?
That's
that going.
That is a fact.
Is it really?
Per capita, yes. Yeah, I mean, there's a strip club. It's like strip club like Starbucks here. So
now, is it all on one street? Is it like strip club alley?
No,
like you just
they're all over the place.
It's the strip.
It's the strip.
It's the Portland district.
Yeah, we go to we usually
like
go to
Vegas, but strip clubs.
Devil's Point we used to go to because they would and in Portland it is full nude. It is completely full nude. So when we first started going, they made them stop doing it because there were girls who would fire dance. And
I had to. So Portland is home to the most strip clubs per capita in the U.S. according to research by Price Economics. Some of that. The city boasts 54 and has more than twice as many strip clubs as it has restrooms. So good for you, Portland. Good for you.
Wow.
Priorities.
No, not holy crap.
Wow.
you got to hold that in.
So I want to know, like, is it a college? Like, where are you getting all the girls
this is
or
largely
guys?
because Constitution protects obscenity under the First Amendment.
Yeah,
that's what it says on this.
Which is weird. So the weird. Here's something weird. In Seattle, the strip clubs here are very. I mean, it's only topless. The stages have to be there's got to be 18 inch, at least 18 inches high. The patrons have to be no closer than 6 feet. But Seattle has no public nudity laws, so you can walk around Seattle completely nude and not get arrested for it, as long as you are not being lewd.
Well, Toronto had a similar thing a few years back where women were going topless because there was a law that was passed and women were like, yeah, we can. And so they did.
It's still legal.
It's still legal to go. Just no one ever does.
Not a fad anymore.
Yeah, no one really.
The guys still like to go nude on the beach though.
So I want to know this Portland. So is it both male and female clubs or majority is just girls?
I would say the majority is probably girls. But it wouldn't surprise me that there are male strip clubs. I know there's also drag clubs as well. So
interesting.
There you go.
So yeah, Portland is very diverse in its sexuality and everything. I mean, keep Portland weird is the.
That's why they are trailblazers.
That is an interesting fun fact.
I'll
now
see myself out.
Yes,
now.
please. Do. So Dean, what do you give this one? We all gave it a fresh except Victor because of his puritanical views. What about you?
I give it a fresh as well, and also I want to give a big shout out to Jared Abramson who played Jake. His American cousin, who is actually Canadian, but he was also on Travelers, which is a great show. Unfortunately, they ended it after 3 seasons. But if you ever get a chance to see it, he was in it and he was awesome. So yeah, when I started watching, I'm like, hey, it's Shaker.
Oh, cool.
And so really good show. Highly recommend. And yeah, it's all filmed, I think, in Toronto. But yeah, good show.
All right. Fresh. And so the MVPs that were given here. Oh, I mentioned that the Twitter poll was right down the middle again. 50-50 gave it fresh and clearance, no compost. The MVPs, I gave mine to Rolled. Victor gave it to Squirrely Dan. Matt gave it to Wayne. Tanya gave it to Rolled. And Elizabeth gave it to Wayne. Who would be your MVP for this one?
Bonnie McMurray for changing the music.
During the celebration.
Jams.
Yeah.
Jog jammed for days.
So the next day, Tanya was trying to find that song. She couldn't remember the name. She thought it was
Twilight Zone.
No, I know. She knew the name. She couldn't remember it was by 2 Unlimited or whatever. She kept on saying by OV because they were chanting OV.
OV. And I'm like, it was OV that sang that?
She's like, hey Google, play Twilight Zone by OV. And she didn't understand why I wasn't playing. Anyway, all right, moving on. Episode 4.
I'm glad I amuse you.
You do. Ferda, and our guest was our buddy Trace. Here's a limerick for that one.
Stuart wins his fight with wrestling ploys. Riley and Jonesy start a club Ferda, boys. Katie and Dirk skate, looking much like a date, causing Wayne to look very annoyed.
All right. And in this one here, I described the episode's climactic scene. Final scene, a musical montage. The drug dealer and his cronies arrive at the club. Tyson and Joint Boy spring to action and take care of 2 of them. But then unexpectedly, Roll takes another guy down with a beer bottle to the knee and then jumps on him like a feral monkey and proceeds to gouge his eyes out. It's a great scene. I love it.
Oh, fuck, it's so good.
And so, that one there was our first unicorn of the season. All 5 of us agreed it was a fresh, and Twitter agreed with us. 81.3% gave it fresh, and the rest gave it a clearance. What say you, Dean?
Yeah, wholly agree. Yeah, that's a great episode. I mean, how long they're out there pissing, standing there. Like, good Lord, what kind of bladder do you have?
Yeah. And Stuart no-handing it. Yeah.
And Stuart, rolled zipping him up. Yeah. And be careful when you're zipping that up.
Oh, man. Yeah. You don't want something about Mary to happen.
How do you get the Franks above the beans?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I have to say. So our 8-year-old comes home yesterday and she's like, I saw a boy peeing through the fence today at recess. And I'm like, oh, which direction were you in? I'm like, did you see the back of him or the front of him? What do I need to explain?
Oh, she said that to me today too. Say, yeah, well, boys can do that. And she's like, and I can't. I'm like, well, I mean, they can stand up. You have to sit.
Sexist, Al.
And I'm like, I said they can do it. They shouldn't do it, but they can do it. So yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully,
I've seen women do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can do it as well. She just probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's actually a skill I've also seen, and I'm quite impressed when it happens.
Yeah.
All right, MVPs for this one. Yeah.
I picture Matt walking by these poor women and just giving them a thumbs up.
No, I think Dean had the nice little
golf clap.
There you go.
Well done.
Well done. Good on you.
MVPs for this one. Tanya gave it to Dickens. I gave it to Rolled. Matt gave it to Rolled, and Trace gave it to Mrs. McMurray. Dean.
Rolled. Yeah. That fucking, it's just, yeah. He was like Wolverine, basically.
Oh, man.
I mean, he's about the same size as Wolverine is supposed to be. So, yeah, and everybody, it's a little off tangent here, but still on tangent, but because everybody wants Kiso to be Wolverine. Rolled is the proper size for Wolverine. If anybody it should be him.
What, the comic book Wolverine's small?
Yeah, Wolverine is he's like 5'5", I think.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I go for. Yeah, I don't want Kiso to be Wolverine because, like the point you've made in the past, we'd lose him for Letterkenny because they wouldn't let him do it. So
Wolverine is 5'3".
Wow. And Canadian, so yes, he should.
Yeah,
really?
exactly. Yeah,
That's a short motherfucker.
All right. Episode 5, Yard Sale Saturday. Our guest was Melbourne Jack. Here's the limerick for that one.
Of Katie's boy Dirks, Wayne couldn't be sicker. Wayne's grumbling grows as he and Katie grow thicker. Riley and Jonesy yell zoot at Anique's photo shoot. But on Yard Sale Saturday, you always got a dicker.
That's right. And Tanya,
I feel like I'm reading like the Nightmare Before Christmas on that one, or like the Night Before Christmas. Like it almost sounds like I'm just doing that, narrating that tale.
you get
Christmas
progressively more enthusiastic in your reads in this episode. I appreciate it. Tanya with this one, she didn't enjoy the cold open nearly as much as the rest of us.
This is up there with one of the top cold opens.
Easy.
Absolutely loved it.
Tanya, what do you think?
I'm going to be the odd man out on this one.
I knew you were. I was waiting for it. I could see your face.
Totally. I did. I'm like, what is going on? And why is it repeating over and over again? And I'm like, is this supposed to be funny? Like he obviously, there's a speech impediment and I didn't it's not a funny thing to me.
Joint Boy's slow learning cousin from.
Well, then that's even worse. That's not funny at all.
Well,
like
well, we're not laughing at him. We're laughing at what he's saying.
Yeah, I could watch that for 48 fiscal hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tanya took exception to that, but everyone else.
I'm sad again listening back to that. Tanya, you made us feel like a dick.
Everyone else loved it overwhelmingly. And you know what? The episode was still a unicorn. It still got freshest from everyone, even Tanya. The cold open wasn't enough to turn her off of this one. And the Twitter poll said the same thing. 80% fresh, 13.3 clearance. And there was one compost, which was probably, an accident. Yeah, or maybe it was Tanya. If she knew how to vote on Twitter polls, I'd say yes. Dean, what say you?
It's a fresh. I loved it. It was a great episode, and yeah, the toilet and all that stuff, and the Uranus, and McMurray coming in. Good Lord, it's like someone unswallowed.
I love that line. Someone unswallowed.
One of the best cold opens ever.
And out there, you're Canadian. In here, European. Awesome. MVPs for this one. Matt gave it to Alexander and Tanya gave it to Rosie. I gave it to Dirks and so did Matt. Oh, I got two Matts here. One of them gave it to Victor. I need to fix that. Victor gave it to Dirks and Jack gave it to Riley.
He's writing you out of the show, Victor.
Dean, what say you?
Clearly.
That's a tough one on that episode. Yeah, I would probably lean towards Alexander in that one as well. Either that or Mrs. McMurray's wooden penis.
the bottle opener, penis shaped wooden bottle opener.
Yeah. You sure about this, honey?
Excellent. And of course, that's where we get our opening from. Is that the Pickers, the Canadian Pickers, was from that show. So. Yeah.
Is that the first time they made a sale on the fruits at the fruit stand? I've never actually.
It wasn't even a sale. He gave it to them. He didn't even make any money off of it.
Yeah, that's right. It was kind of a barter of sorts.
Yeah. That stand, they never sell anything, but it always looks really fresh. So you wonder whether it's just shellacked or something. Like it's not even real fruit and vegetables.
So quick side story. It's funny you say that. I remember going on the set of, I think it's This Hour is 22 Minutes one time at CBC, and they were doing a little tour, and we walked past. There's a Tim Hortons set that they use. It might have been Royal Canadian Air Force actually. And there's a Tim Hortons scene that they use. And so there's this setup of the Tim Hortons thing and a whole and a rack with all the donuts. And they said to us, listen, see all the donuts, and they looked brand spanking new.
Sure.
Like, they're like, those are real donuts. They are 2 years old. They perfectly preserve themselves just sitting on a rack when they hardened up, and they never touch them. And they like, we dust them every once in a while.
They did nothing to treat them either. They didn't like shellac them or anything.
How did they not go like moldy or whatever?
I guess just
sugar keeps it from molding.
Well, I guess Tim Hortons donuts are made of the same stuff that Twinkies are made of then. Because
it was sickening, but wildly interesting all at the same time.
Yeah, it is interesting.
And I still eat them all the time.
Yeah.
Made from demon blood. That's how they stay fresh.
Yeah.
Demon blood.
Episode 6, Holy Sheet. Our buddy Joshua, of course, joined us for that because he likes anything with dicks in him. And here's the limerick for that one.
Noah Dick puts the hicks to works, and this hand job may come with a few perks. A moist, warm treat, not through a holy sheet. Meanwhile, Katie gets serious with Dirks.
And in this one, we do a lot. Oh, no. In this one, we're actually all harmonious. We do a lot of arguing in the podcast, but when we get an episode we all agree on, it can become a love fest. Oh, Victor, you are up first. What did you think of this episode?
There's no holes anywhere. There was in the sheet. There was a single hole, but it was the right hole. I don't know. It was, to me, it was just pure. It was
talk dirty to us, Victor.
Yeah, he's already doing that.
You know, it started a little soft. Which was just the right amount of soft. And you know what? I think that's good because, again, you don't want to blow your load right at the beginning.
Did you write all this down, Victor? Is this like, are you doing shtick right now?
No, I'm just giving you my review. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no. So
Victor, the more you work it, the harder it gets as well. So.
Yeah. I feel like Victor was channeling his inner Dirks in that one. He sounded mellow. Were you mellower than usual that night?
I don't know.
Cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very nice.
Yeah. Dean, what did you think of this one?
Loved it. It's, in my opinion, this was the best one of the season. So, great episode. So the innuendos that go through there are just hilarious, and I want more. There should be a show just about the dicks.
Yeah, I hope they come back. I hope they do make a comeback. That one there got a fresh from all of us. It was a unicorn as well. And Twitter pretty much agreed. 92.9% gave it a fresh. Only one person gave it a clearance. And MVPs for this one, I mean, predictably, Noah from Victor and Matt and myself and Joshua. And Tanya gave it to Katie. Who would be your MVP for this one?
Anita snatched dick. Sarah Wayne Callies is so fucking amazing. I love her. I mean, and her playing Anita Dick is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, watching her originally, first time I ever saw her in The Walking Dead.
Oh, they're gonna say Prison Break.
Did not watch Prison Break.
Okay.
But yeah, in The Walking Dead, her character in that, and then coming to this, it's a complete 180.
I'd love to talk to her and find out how she found her way to Letterkenny. Like because she did a couple pretty major roles, like Prison Break. She was a pretty lead character. Walking Dead, she was phenomenal, and she was in for the first 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, longer than her character was in the comics.
Yeah. I mean, I was torn between Noah and Anita as well. I mean, I really enjoyed Anita in this one, but I gave it only to Noah because he just had more to do. Like he, more heavy lifting throughout the episode, but she was definitely a highlight in this one. All right, final episode here. Number 7, Day Beers Day. And our guest was Dennis, who filled in Yes, he's our favorite. And, we love it when he comes on. Here's a limerick.
Pick favorites. Al.
Shut up. Dennis is our favorite. Here's the limerick for his.
It's Day Beers Day. Don't worry about class. Just bring a lawn chair and start day drinking en masse. Dirks proved he was shady. He stepped out on Katie. Now Letterkenny's lined up to kick Dirks' ass.
And in this one, this is our we're trying to get a new sponsor or something. This is Matt talking about the importance of Riley and Jonesy's message in this cold open.
This was a very important public service announcement going on here about the safety in man's junk.
Okay, gotcha.
I am very well versed in this category and a very big supporter of what these two gentlemen were talking about.
Well, you're a runner.
Well, not even being a runner. This is my day-to-day life. Ever since I have been opened my eyes to the world of these separative boxer brief.
Do you own a pair of bags?
You're a fan of those?
So there are multiple different brands who try to do this. There's actually only one that's gotten it right, and that's Saks with their ballpark pouch, as they call it. It's more of a separation. It's amazing. If you have not experienced it, you have not lived. You're living in pain, gentlemen. Give it a. There's other kinds. There's one brand called 2 Under.
We are looking for sponsorship for this podcast for next season. So Saks,
the 2 Under brand. They have what they call the Joey pouch, where you just put them in there. But listen,
so
I stand by that.
I posted that clip on Twitter, and Saks did like it, but I
saw that.
I have not heard from them.
I was going to ask you if they reached out yet.
No, they have not reached out. And I mean, I don't know where Saks is from. I know I looked 2 Under up, and they're a Vancouver company. Yeah, they're Canadian.
Yeah, they're a Canadian company.
So
what's funny? I actually bought. So I have 2 or 3 pairs of 2 Under.
Mm-hmm.
I actually originally purchased them in our lunchroom in the office.
What?
So it was I think it was no. And there's
are they one of our merchants? Is that why?
No. Well, they might be. I don't know.
I found them in a trash can.
Listen. I
always wanted to try
a judgment-free podcast.
They were still warm.
Yeah.
No, it was a.
I aired them out. You know.
It was a Movember event that we hosted in our lunchroom.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing the whole Movember thing, and they had a few vendors there and support, and it was all men related because it's Movember,
right?
And they had these guys selling these underwear, and I'm like, I'm sold. I let me touch them. I'm like, I'm in. Let's do it. And I've never looked back since.
They weren't wearing them when you touched them.
Is this like a Stuart Roll poking thing? Like
there might have been an adjustment.
The adjustment.
Okay, aren't you going to tell them about your pody?
About my pody. Oh, remind me. I can't remember now what happened.
So we're in the kitchen, and I'm like, I'm like very focused on pre-planning here on Christmas. I'm like, okay, so let's have this conversation. Is there anything on your list for Christmas?
Oh yeah.
And he looks over at me and he goes, yeah, I'll take some of those Saks.
No, I said I want some Saks.
That's what it was. I want some Saks. And our 8-year-old runs out of her room and stands there with her jaw like on the floor going, you want what now? and we're all looking at each other going, oh. And I looked at Alan. I'm like, you did this. And so she's like, what did I hear? And we said, it's Saks. And we really emphasize the A. And then she's like, oh, like the musical instrument. I'm like, yeah, the musical instrument. And then she's like, I thought you were talking about something else. And I'm like, what was that now? She's like, off you go now.
So I won the Pody Award that night. The Parent of the Year, in case you guys are wondering. All right. So for this one here, Tanya and Dennis gave it a fresh. Victor, Matt, and myself gave it a clearance. Dean.
Fresh. Yeah. The only drawback of this episode is you didn't get to see them beating the shit out of Dirks. So that was the only bad part. But yeah, otherwise, I thought it was a really good episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the parking lot scenes actually. The McMurrays were kind of off-putting, but other than that, this episode definitely had a bunch of that part was funny. The episode definitely...
You can't see, but I'm not wearing pants.
Oh. But you're wearing your Saks. The episode definitely had some like epic moments. That last scene, the scene where Marie Fred comes to Wayne's door, and there was another scene that I can't remember now. But but just the filler, the stuff in between, So it was still a good episode. But yeah, I think most of us agreed it was a clearance. MVPs here. Oh, it was everyone said Wayne except for Dennis, who gave it. No, everyone said Wayne. Never mind that. No, it wasn't in this episode. So yes, it was a unicorn for Wayne. We all thought Wayne was the MVP for this one. Dennis, what did you think?
You mean Dean?
Dean, what do you think?
He's hooked on his favorites.
No, I'm looking at Dennis's name on my script. That's why.
So now this is probably going to surprise everybody because it took a lot of guts to do it. Marie Fred. because she came all the way from Quebec to tell Wayne because she'd been trying to let him know, and he had been, big time in her. Basically, she came to let him know what was going on.
Yeah, but Tanya made a good point on that episode, though. She said a cheater came to rat out on another cheater. I mean, I don't know. That I guess there's no honor among thieves, but
but do you think she had access to the same portal?
Right. Yeah, we were discussing the portal, the physics involved there.
Oh yeah, how quickly everybody gets from point A to point B.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. So Awesome made an interesting point that it never even occurred to me. So when I was giving the synopsis of the episode, they're showing Katie her trip down to Michigan, which, if it's from Listowel,
2 hours,
is a couple hours. And she stops for gas, and she's on the phone, and she stops for food, and she's on the phone. So I'm thinking she's trying to get a hold of Dirks to let him know she's on her way, and never gets a hold of him. So when she gets down there, that's why he looks surprised to see her. But Awesome made the point that maybe she thinks the reason they all showed up at the same time, and the reason she stopped to eat, because it's only a 2-hour trip, is that second phone call is Wayne and the gang calling her, giving her a heads up that this is what happened, and that they're all on their way down there, that they'll meet her down there. And so she knew that was going to happen.
No, her face was too surprised for no, I don't believe that she knew that
to
they
me,
were
it looked
there.
like she was dialing.
Yeah.
And then she, in both instances, which is still, because you see her hit more than just one button,
right?
Like the answer button. So, which I think is kind of weird, because usually you have people on speed dial and you only need to hit it, you hit the button and hit it again. I'm of the opinion that, she was trying to get a hold of him because she's just like sitting there listening, waiting, it's like she's not reacting to anything on the phone call.
Yeah. All right. I mean, it was an interesting notion, and because it would kind of explain, like, Victor was making fun of the fact that, it's a 2-hour drive. She had at least a 5-hour head start on everyone, but they all pulled up there like seconds after she arrives. And how is that possible? And then it would also make sense why she would stop at a food truck. Like she'd make 2 stops on a 2-hour trip. Like it didn't make a lot of sense. So it was an interesting thought.
I think she tried to get through once and said, you know what? I'm going to give him a bit of time to wake up. I don't want to, those types of, that's what's going through my mind.
That's what I thought.
All right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to get gas. I'm going to take my time.
Yeah. That's what I thought too. But I just figured it was an interesting notion that could be a good explanation as well. All right. So that's a season recap. So let's, just do a bit of a talk about guessing the future. Dean, you and I can sit this one out, and we'll start with Victor. I mean, we got it a bit last episode, but if you guys want to talk about what you want to see in the next episode, what you want to see more of, or where do you want to see these stories going, Victor?
I want to see more of Glenn. I don't think we get enough of Glenn, but I think what my number 1 and my number 2 favorite episodes from the entire series is the 2 Dick episodes, and I just feel like is too much Dick too much Dick? I don't think so. I don't think he can have enough of Dick, and so I want at least another.
You want to get double dicked.
I want a double Noah Dick next season.
He wants double penetration. All right.
Yeah, 2 in a pink, 1 is stink. Whatever. Well, let's.
Oh man! And you mentioned
the gash.
Yeah.
I love this side of Victor.
I know, right? You don't see it very often. You also mentioned you're done with Marie Fred. You don't need to see more of her.
We don't need that anymore. Let's keep her in Quebec. And I since Tanya shared her thoughts on what's going to happen, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think Tanya is not Tanya. Well, maybe Tanya too, but I think Katie's going to get in front of everybody and say, "Stop! I'm going to take care of business myself," and maybe give him a box kick or something like that. So I don't think we're going to see the city, the village mob on Dirks.
No. All right. And while I have you, because I forgot to ask this, what would you give like overall rating for season 8? If you want to talk about that for a sec. Fresh, clearance, or compost overall.
You know what? I think I'm going to give it a fresh, because even though the first two episodes, I think I gave it a clearance. I love those cold opens with the TSN cold open, and I'm trying to remember what the third episode was.
The Rippers.
Yeah,
Which one?
Rippers. That seems to be
was
the only
the third.
one. Yeah, you had an issue with was the Rippers, like a big issue with.
Yeah, I didn't have it. Yeah, it's like Dan and I think we're kind of comrades on that one. He checked out, I think, at the beginning, and I kind of went with him. But yeah, it was fine. But I feel like the strength of the three unicorns in a row, and two of them were just so like grand. I mean, the cold open with Alexander. I mean, that's one of the greatest things I've seen like all year. It's so much laughter. And Dean, you don't know, but for me, I had to watch that a multitude of times over and over again, because it kept getting stuck. It was buffering halfway through that scene. So I can't remember what the count I said last time. So it's going to be some new fabricated number, but I felt like it was like 16 times or something like that. It just over and over and over again. I got to hear the toilet over and over again. And the funny thing is, it got funnier each time. So just. Yeah, I mean, this has to be the whole season has to be a fresh. I mean, the final episode, we weren't crazy about the day drinking, and the fact that they didn't give us any backstory on the day drinking. I think we were a little bummed about that,
because it was a short episode, a 19-minute episode. They had time
on that.
No,
I think the thing is with it, because it was the 7th episode, every other 7th episode is a holiday episode. So they had to basically come up with a holiday, Day Beers Day, in order for it to also be a bit of both. It's still part of the story, but it's also a holiday.
But that montage at the end is probably the strongest montage we've seen so far, where it's like a story in there, and it's not just for the sake of seeing the gang together. There was like a real thing to a build up towards the climax. So I think it's probably the strongest season so far, I would say, in my opinion. And I just, I can't wait for us to start the next season.
Yeah. So imagine everyone else had to wait over a year, and we're only waiting a couple of weeks. So count yourselves lucky.
I'm not going to feel guilty. So you can just put that to rest.
Is it next week we have homework?
Next week we have Ag Hall, and then the week after that,
Oh, okay.
So Tan, first of all, what are you overall rating for this season? What do you
Fresh? Absolutely, hands down. Yeah, there was. Yeah, it was a solid season. Just like Victor was saying, the first two didn't really do much for me, but it was back to back to back. It was just solid the rest of the way through, and for sure, it was a great episode. Day Beers Day did not bother me like it did you guys. Absolutely gave that one a fresh. It was great season. Looking forward to what happens next. My predictions, I already said what I thought. Victor reiterated that on what I think Katie's going to do. I'm looking forward to still seeing some strong women like Wayne's girl. Rosie. My God, my brain just went. Rosie. I'm loving that new character and how she's developed into that strong kind of. She's
more assertive than she was.
Much more assertive.
Both her and Bonnie have been given a lot more agency than they had originally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sure. So looking forward to that. Again, just like Victor said, Glenn, I'd love to see more of him. I loved even how they, finished it off with Stuart and his, getting all buff and that whole thing. That's come to a close now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next season and see what they do from there. I would also love to see more of
Diggins. No.
Oh my God, names are just escaping my head.
Dax and Ron.
Okay, forget it.
Roll.
Forget it.
It's all guess.
No dick.
No, more of the dicks. Of course, more of the dicks.
Yeah.
You got hung up on the dick, the one who's distracted by it more than anyone.
It's the woman. Oh my God, I can't remember her name.
Anita Dick?
No.
Sarah Wayne Kelly.
Lavina.
Oh, Gay.
Ellen.
Oh, Gail.
What is Gail?
You guys are terrible at charades.
Gail? No.
Strange, you actually have to do anything. You're not moving.
Marie Fred?
Katie, Bonnie, Marie, Anik.
And I would like to see more of Anik. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm getting hot.
Gail.
No.
From Modine.
The host.
Oh my God.
The Valentine's
Bonnie.
Day host.
You're losing the momentum of the show.
You know what?
here.
Yeah. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Just blurt it out when it comes to you. Matt, what overall rating do you give this season?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So it's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't remember which episode I said it, but welcome back, Letterkenny.
Mm-hmm.
This season 7, and again, a lot of shows do this. I think there was a big sidestep there. They tried something a little different, got more kind of story heavy in some ways, and tried to add a couple new gimmicks. It didn't quite hit it with us, but they went back to the roots in this one, and we all remembered why we loved the early seasons. They did a lot of cool stuff that would just hit home so well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, there was some episodes that weren't fantastic, but I mean, they can't all be amazing. The ones in the middle were dynamite. Even the ending, I didn't hate. It just wasn't out of this world. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely a fresh season, and I can't wait to see what's next. Talking about the future, I think you guys have all hammered on some of the key points. I want to see more Glenn. I'm really excited to see how Katie is next season. I mean, she's pretty hard, pretty cutthroat. This one, she was a softer version of herself because she was all smitten kitten. And now that this has happened, I want to see
the fallout.
The other side. Yeah, the fallout. It's the best way to put it. So I'm excited to see something like that. I'd like to see more Tanis and her whole crew. We haven't.
Oh, that's the one that Tanya couldn't remember.
Oh, it's the only one we didn't list.
And the one that sounds the most like her name, Tanis.
My
Tanya.
brain is full this week. I'm telling you, it's work overload. Tanis. Oh my God.
Well, I just think they have so much opportunity.
We didn't really
explore.
see her much this.
The first two episodes, and then she disappeared. Yeah.
I want to see them. They've given, I think, all the major characters some storylines, and I don't think they've really. I mean, they've been side storylines. I'd like to see them get more of a front and center one. Same with Glenn. I'd like to see him get more of a front and center story in the future. And then the last thing I'd love to see, because I've enjoyed this every time it's happened, is any kind of inner community relations. And I'll say, either their connections with the French Hicks. I'm not saying it, Al. The Americans.
The Fricks? Okay.
Yeah, those guys. The American thing going on right now. I mean, I like when they kind of play with other cultures and take their own Letterkenny spin on portraying those cultures. Like we saw a bit of the Newfies there in the hockey thing. I loved it. I would love to see the
long may your big jib draw eyes.
Right?
Wow.
They do. That's pretty good, actually.
I watched a lot of Republic of Doyle. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That'll do it. That'll do it. So yeah, I like when they play on those things because they really just exaggerate. I mean, I say exaggerate, but that's actually how they sound. So let's just see more of that. Show us some more versions of other areas or some crossovers. It's a lot of fun. So
that's Maddie knows.
Right.
All right. I mean, I'm going to agree with you. This season's getting a unicorn because I think it's a fresh season as well. It's a return to form for Letterkenny. It's a breath of fresh air after the season 7 that we got. I mean, even the ones that I didn't give a fresh to, with the exception of I think just one episode which was right down the middle. The other ones were very high clearances and could have been freshes if, maybe one or two things had been done differently.
Yeah, they were all border.
Yeah, they were all border. And
I agree.
I mean, so it was just a solid season. And it's funny because, I had watched the whole series through once and then we started the podcast. And just like Dean was saying, I was looking forward to seasons 3, 4, and 5. And then after that, it was a blur. I didn't really remember. I couldn't remember what the later seasons brought. So, I mean, I kind of knew that there was going to be some weaker seasons there, but I forgot that season 8 bounced back the way it did. Like it's a solid season. And again, though, it left us hanging for over a year. So it was pretty much torture with a season like that. It was pretty much torture.
Yeah, that season 7. I mean, because there was so much angst after like what's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And so now, and I do think, my opinion on season 7 is that was really like the first season where they were part of Hulu, and I think they were trying to do stuff for Hulu. I don't know if Hulu asked for that or what happened, but I think that's kind of probably what was involved there, because it was a different flavor for sure.
You know, I think tonally one of the big differences was the egg haul. Crack an egg. Was replaced because it was a winter episode. They couldn't do the produce stand scenes, so they transposed them to this crack an egg, and it fell flat.
But I like the crack and egg.
For me, I so agree. Crack and egg for me was like the best part of that season.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. So I don't know. Then maybe
it was everything around it. Like it were fun little scenes, especially the first couple episodes of that season were a blast to watch their uncomfortable awkwardness around dealing with.
Yeah, those scenes were good. But I remember
I didn't like all the McMurray bashing.
Yeah,
and at the end, he ends up being the hero.
Yeah.
He got his comeuppance.
He got it. Yeah, there we go. Victor got to say his word. So, Dean,
5.15 inches.
Dean, overall rating for this season, what is it?
Oh, it's fresh.
Yeah. And
I think everybody who has said stuff about season 9, I think you'll probably be okay. You'll be happy for the most part.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get to season 9.
Me neither.
The point I made here is this podcast started in that void. When we started this podcast,
you had to wait a whole year.
I had to wait a whole year. I'm going to say it again. And I had to walk uphill barefoot in the snow to do it as well.
When I was young.
When I was your age. Anyway, so you guys, you don't know how lucky you are.
So Al, on your and Matt's recommendation, I went and watched the Trotsky. So speaking of bringing
yes,
together,
okay, yes, let's talk about that for a second.
Jay Baruchel.
Yeah, and everybody else. And like all the connections, even what's his name, Camacho.
Yeah.
Like, the connection to Stuart. So not a direct connection, but the fact that he was on that show. And
what's her name from Schitt's Creek? Emily, forget her.
Yeah. She was so good. And of course, Miss Horn. The whole thing was just, the movie was, I feel like I was biased because I enjoyed the movie more than maybe what I would have if I wasn't kind of connected to these characters.
Right.
Okay. Because the movie was really good, but it was kind of more kind of cute than good.
Yeah.
But I probably give it a few extra notches just because how much I enjoyed and connected with the characters.
And seeing these actors in these different roles and stuff.
That's what I mean. Well, that's what I meant by connected with I guess the characters, but the actors playing these. So, and then even seeing,
Tierney.
Tierney at the end.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a hockey player called Chris Tierney. I wonder if they're related.
Oh, who knows?
But
maybe.
Anyway,
so, did you recognize that was Tierney? Because he's pretty unrecognizable there.
No. He was. It wasn't like Studio 54 where my wife didn't know that it was Mike Myers all along.
So now, did you? Now you have to watch Good Neighbors because that's another one that Tierney wrote and directed, and starring Emily Hampshire and Tia Horn's in it for a hot second, not for very long, but it's pretty good too. It's a bit of a thriller, but what I really enjoyed about it is it's a thriller, but it's got it doesn't end the way you might think it'll end.
Okay. Well, don't say too much.
Yeah.
So not to be confused with Neighbors.
No, it's called Good Neighbors, shot in Montreal, takes place in Montreal, written and directed by Tierney.
Also, and now these are both Jay Baruchel movies, like Goon and Goon 2, which has Dale Z's in it.
I love Goon and Goon 2.
And the gal who played the matchmaker plays a flight attendant in it.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. So you'll see some recognizable faces.
I think I've seen Goon, but I haven't seen Goon 2 yet. So
it's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
2 is the one that's got Dale Z in it.
Yeah. So I mean, this Letterkenny's opening our eyes to new Canadian cinema too, and it's not even new. It's fucking 20 years old, but we're only watching it now.
I'd seen it for.
And you got Republic of Doyle even has McMurray in it.
Yeah,
and you'll see some other characters.
McMurray with a perm, right? Like
long hair, curly. Yeah,
but does he walk funny in it?
He gets beat up.
That's per usual. All right. listener comments. We've got a few here. At Protestant, traveling to Seattle, the Protestant podcast is keeping me sane as I check through security, wait at the gate, and probably the flight itself. And that's from our new friend and listener, Brenya Sorib. Then Joey Chester writes, finally reaching out to you all early in your season 5 reviews after starting up podcast back in June or July. Just got to say, I love your podcast. It gave me a great excuse to rewatch a series for probably the 7th time, much to my wife's despair. I appreciate everyone's points of views and takes on each episode. It's giving me more to watch this go around rather than just sitting there and laughing. Some insight from your research as well as guest panelists has been great. Keep up the incredible work. I look forward to hearing your opinions on the duller seasons coming up. Trying to get caught up before season 10 releases. Pitter patter. Thank you, Joey, for that great comment. And then just a few comments on the last episode about Beers Day. Jenny Shirk says it was her favorite episode. Miss Goddess says hands down the best episode. Cookie Van Haven loved the episode, and Brian Tan loves the ending so much. Fucking Dirks. So excellent.
Who's
and then
first, Dirks or Samuel?
I mean, it's a good, yeah. Worse? Yeah, Dirks is worse. I mean, he's a kid. He doesn't know any better. But it's funny though, because I remember thinking a lot, thinking he's a slime ball, Dirks is a slime ball. But both Victor and I really liked the character. The actor did a great job.
Oh yeah.
In
playing a slime ball.
Yeah, playing a slime ball. He did a really good job. And if you watch 19-2, he's pretty good in that too. So I mean, because I compare that to the Marie Fred story, which I was heartbroken when I'm like, because I really liked the relationship that they had. Mm-hmm. It was cute. I mean, it was the first time you see Wayne kind of opening up a little bit, and which I think is kind of why he's kind of closed himself off. Even, I mean, he's still not like quite as open as he was with Marie Fred with Rosie. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that was kind of like, oh no, because I was expecting it from the very beginning. Dirks was a fucking dickhead right off the bat. Yeah. And I don't like.
And really, the relationship didn't take very long. Like, what was it? Maybe a week time frame. Wayne was engaged to Marie Fred. Yeah. Like that was a long-standing relationship already that had progressed, right? Dirks was almost flingish. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And then just in Letterkenny news, I've already mentioned the iTunes review contest for us, but on Twitter this week, all I've seen is pictures of people getting their Letterkenny Funko Pops in the mail. So I guess that all came out this week. Dean, did you buy any or
no? Yeah. If I buy it, I'm going to buy from Dennis. So
yes, me too. But I know lots of people. I did.
Whenever because people would tag me in them, and I would say, "Hey, but Dennis has." Yeah.
Lots of people. I saw Awesome got hers, and Mike Loranger got his, and a bunch of other people getting them all. I guess they were all shipped.
Did they just release those?
Yeah,
they
must.
Happen?
Well, they released them a few months ago. People ordered them, and they're only coming out now, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, I don't want to have to. I've got plenty of Funko Pops right now that I have to pack up. I don't want to have to pack up 4 more.
Yeah, so. Exactly. All right, so let's we'll move on to final comments, and I'll start. Dean, thank you so much, man. You're amazing for always coming on when for our season recaps. It's so much fun. Maybe you and Tiara can join us at the Egg Hall Social next week. It'll be on Friday, so if you guys are available, you can log on.
Possibly.
Yes, write that down. Victor, write that down. Friday night is the Egg Hall Social.
Friday.
Did we agree to this?
Yes, because
I don't recall that.
We wanted Jack to be able to join from Melbourne.
Right.
I do recall that.
I do remember Jack.
Yeah.
So
it will only.
I'm watching
real.
Community because of Jack.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm watching.
Al,
Community.
it will be real only when you send us a proper invite.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll send you a proper invite. But anyway, Dean, again, thank you. You did, as usual, you did a great job. And why don't you let us know about all the 1,000,001 podcasts you produce and where we can find them.
Yeah. So PodScure, we record every Monday. We try to stream it if we can. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Mm-hmm. Then I generally try to put that out the next day. I don't have to do a lot of editing with that one. Mm-hmm. Boondocks is is a bit of a different animal. We record that every Tuesday. I will put out the full extended episode because when those three ladies get together, they will talk for 3 hours. So for our Patreon patrons, we put that out there for anybody who wants to listen to the entirety of the thing. Otherwise, I edit it down to about an hour and a half and put it out on Mondays. Which our next one on this coming Monday will be A Date with the Booty Warrior, which is a great episode. And then Disputed, we just, like I said, last week we recorded our Spike versus Cassidy. So Buffy versus Preacher. Great. It was a great episode. It was a lot of fun and great characters to debate for as well. We had Awesome was debating for Cassidy. So yeah, great episode.
And I pity anyone who has to go up against her in the debate. So
God, Tim put up. I mean, yeah, Tim gave and got as good as he, both ways. So it was so good. The chemistry between those two was just great. I mean, it was almost like I didn't even need to be there.
Right.
So, and then, our next one that we're recording on Wednesday next week, since we couldn't get Thursday, scheduling things. So we're doing this one on Wednesday next week, which will be Dexter versus Hannibal.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Who's arguing for Dexter?
Dexter will be Moxie LaBouche.
Oh, okay. Well,
we've had her on PodScure. And she is a former burlesque dancer. She is an author. She has a podcast called Your Brain on Facts, which is brilliant. I mean, she's just a huge vat of memory of lots of trivia things. So
okay, well then I pity anyone who's got to go against her.
Yeah, my hope is that someday I'll be able to get Awesome and Moxie together to debate, because I think that will be epic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Clash of the Titans. All right.
And then How Are You Now whenever season 10 comes out or Shoresy or whichever, who knows?
Yeah. We'll have to figure out a way. Maybe we can join forces on a Shoresy somehow.
Yeah.
And we'll take that one offline there.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Victor, final comments.
Wouldn't it be fun if they did a Dick spinoff?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what I've been saying. That's what I had said for so long about about Tanis and the Res, and then they came out with Reservation Dogs, which is brilliant.
Yes.
I have to catch
it's a good show.
I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I hear
Two horns. Yeah, two horns and that as well.
Well, Tanya and I are just finishing up Squid Game, and maybe we'll move on.
Oh my God, no more Squid Game. I need that one to be over. My blood pressure can't handle it. My blood pressure, I swear, I watch my Fitbit. It goes up. I'm like, I can't handle this anymore. It's stressing me out.
There's a new show that coming out in China called Squid Victory, which is the same show.
Although I do think I have it figured out, and we need to discuss it, because I think I figured it out last night as I was laying there.
I mean, we're down to 2, so it's either one or the other. We'll see.
I'm ready. I know what it is.
Okay.
Anyway, final thoughts. Dean, just thanks again. You're great for coming on the show, and you're sharing your insights and in both fun and an insightful way. So really appreciate that, and looking forward to continuing, and hopefully you can join us on the Ed Call next week.
I'll do my best.
Tanya.
Hi, Dean. You're awesome. Thank you so much for coming out. It's always nice to see
Dean.
you.
Awesome. She'll be on this week.
No. Give it a break.
Too many kids.
Looking forward to season 9. Looking forward to the Egg Haul. I've got my bottle of wine ready. Awesome. When you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. And I will have some fresh season 3 Letterkenny trivia for that day. So bring your brains. Matt.
So first out, shout out to Al here for his Eye of the Stewart video that you produced and put out there on the internets. That was fucking fantastic. If you haven't seen it, check out the produce stand on the Instagrams and all that shit. That was well done, sir. That was a good laugh.
Thanks.
Great season. This was so much fun. I continue to love this. I think it was part of Damon's, the Damon Does one, and they were asking, and if I'm wrong, Dean, if it was on yours, I apologize, but it was around, when do you guys take a break? And I said, well, we haven't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we really haven't. I don't actually know if we've missed a week since we started. I mean, I know I've missed a couple for different reasons, but
it was on PodScure. Yeah, I remember you saying
yeah, sorry, my bad, Dean. That was Monday. It's been a long week.
You should have inserted.
We get it, Matt. You're a pod slut. Yes.
You should have inserted the potty noises.
Oh yeah.
Matt did miss a
right.
couple.
That was one, but it's just it's crazy that we've been doing this. And I listened to another one of another podcast today, and they were talking about someone who like, yeah, we had people drop off the podcast early, but here we are. We're at finishing season 8. You know, we're 70 plus episodes now, and we're still laughing and still showing up, and we still got our guests that want to come hang out with us. And I can't be thankful enough. This is so much fun, and now it's expanding. You know, like on the pod slot this week. Apparently, I've done a few different ones, but I love them all. They're all so much fun, and the community behind this, and the listeners and supporters, and us, and I love it. And Dean, thanks so much always for joining us. You bring so much to the show and into this community. I mean, you guys were here first, and we joined, and it's all just been welcomed with open arms, and it's been a blast. So let's keep it going.
It's family.
And Matt, we don't slut shame on this podcast, so don't worry.
I wasn't feeling shame. If that's your, I wasn't feeling shame. Don't worry.
Just use protection.
Yes.
Just
what?
Dean, last word goes to you, bud.
Oh man, it's great being here. It's a lot of fun, and I enjoy it every time. It's because it's been a while since we've been able to put an episode out. Aside from our seeing what we think is going to happen with Shoresy season 11 and 12.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Season 10 and 11. But yeah, I'm ready to start doing more of these. But yeah, it's great coming on here. It's kind of getting me ready for those new episodes whenever they drop.
You living vicariously through us for now? Is that-
in essence, yeah. When I can, when I'm not doing Disputed and PodScure and
Sleep
Boondocks and working,
that's
packing.
Oh yeah, you're preparing to move
lots of
too.
time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to play us off here with the same song from last episode, Do It, Try It by M83, which is a great tune. And let me start from the beginning. One fucking job. There we go.
This is a great song.
This is not it. Wait, this is it.
Well, what's that one?
No, this is it. Isn't it?
No, this one's Fire Doesn't Burn Itself by Sam Flax. All right, we'll just play this one. It sounds great. And that's all we have for this episode. Join us next week. We have our regular. Oh no, this is next week. We have our Egg Hall Social. So this is where our listeners join us. I'm wrong script. I didn't update the script. So next week we have our Egg Hall Social, and like I mentioned, it's going to be Friday night, not Thursday night. We're doing that for our buddy Jack, but also for a good end of week party, get together, whatever you want to call it. We will start at 9:30, maybe. We'll see, either 9:30 or 10, but I will put out the link and we'll let everyone know when that's going to happen. We will be giving stuff away. We will be having Letterkenny trivia. We'll be catching up with our listeners. It's going to be a lot of fun. It always is. So can't wait for that. Don't forget to give our sponsor Diabolical Coffee some love. They're at diabolicalcoffee.com. Right now you can use a promo code PROTOSTAN for 10% off any purchase from their site. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes, become a patron. There is a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at ProtestanPod. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at ProtestanPod. Thank you for joining us. Now we're going to go watch the Squid Game finale. On behalf of Dean, Matt, Victor, Tanya, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week.